Who are you?
I'm your husband, Ben.
What?
We got married in 1999. It's 14 years ago. Christine, you're 40. You had an accident. It was a bad accident. You had head injuries. And you have problems remembering things.
What things? What?
Everything. You store up information for a day. When you wake up in the morning, it's all gone. You're back to your early 20s.
And that was a clip from Before I Go to Sleep. I'm delighted to say Nicole Kidman has joined us. Hello, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Did the headphones sound all right?
Yeah.
Because normally it's just me who wears the headphones, but you...
No, I like them. I think I'm an audio person too then.
Just the sound matters.
It does.
That's all. So we can pick up every bang and every little piece of construction which is going on around us. So a number of years ago, I interviewed the author of Before I Go to Sleep. So on the Radio 2 Book Club, we had picked this as a book club choice. And we spent a lot of time trying to work out whether S.J. Watson was a man or a woman. And we were intrigued by that, because it was deliberately done, you know, so that we didn't know. And it's an extraordinary tale. Explain your role and explain this. It's essentially a three-hander. So just explain the story, Nicole.
It's about a woman who is afflicted with this terrible amnesia, where she wakes up every morning not knowing who she is and who she's married to. And it actually exists as a condition, which I researched before I agreed to do the film, because I wanted to make sure that it did exist. And there's been documentaries and it's up. I mean, there is people that then will say that it doesn't exist, that it's just a very convenient way for people to sort of eliminate parts of their lives. But I do believe it does exist, having watched these documentaries and read a lot about it.
And S.J. Watson, who of course turns out to be a man, though I was convinced it was written by a woman, because it's very much told from your character's perspective. He's very clear in his research that this actually does exist. Explain the type of amnesia that we're talking about, because it's very specific and key to the plot.
Well, it's an amnesia that you can still remember things like this is a pencil, you can remember how to write, you can remember how to speak, you can remember from a particular time up until that time. And so for my character, she can remember up until she was 27. And now she wakes up and she's in her 40s. And she doesn't know who she's sleeping with, and she thinks it's sort of a fling that she's having, and it's actually her husband. And she has to find that out. And then as soon as she goes to sleep, all of that gets erased. So, you know, during the film, she starts to come up with ways to record her memories of what she finds out during that 24-hour period, so that it doesn't get erased, and she's able to then rewatch it back, and that's how the thing starts to unravel. I
love the opening shot of the movie where it's just a close-up of your kind of your eye, bloodshot, and we kind of instantly know that you're worried and scared and that things aren't well. And I think that was beautifully done. And I think instantly people are there with that horrific setup. What would it be like? We're instantly asking that question. How would I react? So you think you're 27, and then you look in the mirror and you discover you're 40.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Which is going to be an extraordinary shock. So
what a pity. No.
And then you come out of the bathroom, and there is the very patient Colin Firth, who's clearly explained this many times to you.
Yes.
That
my husband, who I'm married to.
I'm your husband, and this is how I fit in.
This is what you go through. And he's very caring and very protective, and all of the things that are incredibly appealing. But as the film unravels, you start to discover that not everything is what it seems.
The key and the key thing
is what I mean, I suppose I'm drawn to things that play on our biggest fears, and the idea that somebody is pretending to be something is a big thing. The idea that we could lose our memory is a terrifying thing. So you know, the themes of the book, and thus the movie, vibrate on that some of those primal fears, I think.
Yeah, and also your memories are who you are.
Yeah, if you don't have them at all, I mean, that's why diseases like Alzheimer's is so absolutely I think, some of the worst things that can happen, because you lose your life in a way, and it's just devastating.
The key moment in the book is the discovery of the diary that you've been keeping, and then it's put in a wardrobe. So
it's the video diary.
Yes, but in the book it's a written diary. But that must be a huge cinematic moment. You think, right, this is now a video diary, and so we now watch you, and you watch yourself telling you who you are and where everything fits together, which must have been fantastic from your point of view to have that to work with.
Yeah, it was really, and we shot those just basically me holding a camera in a room on my own. The DP would just set it and say, just record. So there was a strong reality to them, which was really exciting as an actor. But it meant I had to really have the emotion, trying to track the emotion each time of where I'm at and how much I know and how much I fall apart when I find it. That was very confusing. And because Rowan is the writer and the director, it was good being able to use him as sort of a compass through the whole thing, because I would lose track. It's confusing at times, and that's why the way in which he's written it unravels, I think, quite clearly, actually, considering how complicated it is.
And he has a personal take on this. My understanding is his mother has had amnesia as well, which is another one of the reasons why he wanted to tell this story.
Yeah, I met with him, and he told me that whole story, which was really... it meant that he had an emotional connection that was far greater than just a writer writing a story and going, oh, this is a cool yarn.
And you spend most of them, I think everyone will spend most of it, even those who've read the book, as I have, that you go, okay, there's Ben, it's Colin Firth. Good old Colin Firth. And there's Mark Strong as Dr. Nash, who you're saying is trying to help you recover your memories, or is he? Good old Mark Strong, we like Mark Strong. Oh, is he? Maybe he's horrible. No, maybe Ben's horrible. Maybe it's all you. Maybe you're imagining the whole thing in
maybe I'm horrible.
Place. How do you keep that balance? I mean, it felt almost like a play at times.
With good actors, we were lucky to have really, really good male leads. And I suppose as an actor, I just approach it from truth, and I approach it so that each moment I'm trying to be as real and committed as possible. And then it's up to the director. He has to go and make it work, which is a far more onerous task.
And it's Colin Firth again, so you clearly have a fantastic relationship with him.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a Skype interview with him last weekend, and I hadn't seen him for so long, and I suddenly went, oh, I miss him. Because he's just lovely. He's lovely to be around. He's very funny. He's the best of the British is how I would describe Colin.
If Mark Strong, as Dr. Nash, is really trying to make you better, why does he keep taking you to underground car parks where it's all rainy and very gloomy and makes us all feel scared? That would have made me very suspicious.
Yeah, it made me suspicious of him. And I kept saying, I'm very suspicious of you. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the atmosphere, I think, of the movie, the DP on this film is wonderful. And we have very little time to shoot it, so it was great that they were able to give it such a strong sense of atmosphere. Because these films rely on that.
Yes. And you just think...
claustrophobia.
I don't know if I can trust you and your version of events. I don't know if I can trust Mark Strong. I don't know if I can trust Colin Firth. I mean...
Good.
It's sort of, it's fairly paranoid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of my greatest... The great paranoia films like Repulsion and Don't Look Now, and those films are just... I mean, they're the great thrillers that we all still try to emulate.
I spoke to you when you did Rabbit Hole a number of years ago.
It's a very different type of film.
It's a very different type of film, but then you specialise in making very different types of film. But we talked then about you taking risks and wanting to take a risk with a part. Was there a risk with this movie, or did it take you out of your comfort zone in any way?
No, I suppose this genre is the genre that I always probably am drawn to the most. Even as a child, I would want to go and see the scary movie. I wanted to ride the roller coasters. I then became a teenager. I started jumping out of planes. I suppose my desire to have adrenaline pumping through my body and to be, deep. And it probably comes down to just being deeply affected by things, feeling things. So then, I jump to something like a birth or a rabbit hole where it's far more about the complexity and depth of emotion and loss and grief, because those to me are very, very deep primal emotions. So I suppose that's probably the things I'm drawn to the most is the extreme emotions in films.
And are you still a risk taker? Are you still fearless?
I never call it fearless.
Many directors have said you're fearless. Many directors have said you're a risk taker. I just wonder if you still see yourself as that.
I've never seen myself that way. I literally just jump in and I don't think of the consequences. So that's really good and really bad in life. But I've done it my whole life, and people have tried to sort of rein me in and have me realise the consequences. But I don't know, I just have that laissez-faire approach to things, and I'm willing to jump off a cliff. I mean, and literally, physically, I'm willing to jump out of a plane. So that probably is a metaphor for the way in which I approach my art. And it's not in the sense of just randomly wanting to, sort of shock or try. I mean, a lot of it comes from deep places, probably because my emotions, I tend to feel things in a very, very strong way. And my mother always thought I was too sensitive for the world. So probably this is the way in which I sort of brave it, by throwing myself into it. And at times you take a beating for that, But
you took a beating over Grace and Monaco. Was that a risk?
Yeah, it was a risk, because I was playing one of the most unique, sort of beautiful, extraordinary women. I mean, she was so unique, Grace, in what she did. And when you look at that, you go, oh, my gosh, yeah. Now I look back and I go, that was obviously a massive risk, which I was completely unaware of. I just went, this is a great character who I've always really liked, and I'll go and make this film and do my best. And I did do my best, and it obviously didn't work. So, in that way, I have to take those beatings, and I have to sort of stand there and go, okay, well, I did this. And, but it doesn't, I suppose in some way it still doesn't stop me, so I'm probably a fool. But I'll continue to be a fool and try things. But I like storytelling, I like working. I don't like knowing I mean, with directors, I'm more than willing. I just went and did a film in Australia with a first-time female director, and everyone was like, oh, my gosh, that's such a risk. And I'm like, it's not a risk. I believe in her. I'm going to try it. I really believe in the material, because what it's about female sexuality and the way in which that manifests and the way in which that's punished at times. And that, to me, is a very interesting thing in this world right now. So, I'm more than happy. And at one point, I probably will start to write and speak through my own voice rather than other people's, because I certainly have ideas and things that I'm interested in that I want to explore. And I have strong opinions. I was raised by a very strong feminist mother, and I have things that I still haven't probably expressed in the way I need to express them.
And in the huge contrast of roles that you're doing, is it Paddington Bear that we see you in?
Paddington Bear was done because I've always wanted a Paddington Bear.
And that was going to be Colin Firth as well.
It was, but yes. But didn't he consciously uncouple from him?
He did consciously uncouple.
The bear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, Paddington was so that I could, I mean, this is the craziest thing. I was like, I'll do this for my children. And then they're like, oh, my gosh, are you playing the bear's mummy? And I'm like, I'm not playing the bear's mummy. No, I'm playing the person. And that's when I realised they can't go see this film. I'm playing the taxidermist that wants to hurt the bear.
That's terrible.
My daughter was mortified.
This is a risk.
It was a risk. It's a terrible risk. They can't see it now. So they've seen the trailer and they laugh uproariously at the trailer. I laugh at that trailer. It's adorable. The bear's adorable, but I'm not adorable. I'm vicious and awful in it.
Well, we look forward to seeing that. Nicole Kidman, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.